You know how they say kids say the darndest things? Well, apparently so do adults, because there's a whole lot of it right here. Welcome back, I'm Hannah, wife without kids. I believe that having kids is a choice and not a social obligation. I've created this non-judgmental and supportive community for those of us who have made the choice to not have any children. If you have decided to live the child-free life, it's inevitable. People will make assumptions about you. Let's just get it out in the open. A few weeks ago, I put out a question and I said, hey, what are some assumptions people make about you because you've chosen the child-free life? And I got like 90 responses. I won't go through all 90 responses, but we'll scroll through a few of these and I'll share some of them. I think I'm better than people who have kids. Yeah, we don't think that. We just don't want kids. That doesn't mean we think we're better than people who have kids. You are inherently rich. I have a ton of extra money and I can do whatever I want with my money and I can loan it to you if you want money. Yeah, that always makes me nervous. My philosophy on loaning money is if I loan somebody money, I'm just going to make the assumption I'm not going to get it back because that's usually what's happened in the past for me. So I just make a habit of not loaning people money because it creates bad feelings, and just because I don't have kids doesn't mean that I have a lot of extra money to loan people. I just might be making more aggressive mortgage payments so that I can pay off my house sooner. Which is kind of like what we're doing, but you don't want to have that conversation with everyone that asks you for money, so it's better just to be like, sorry, I don't loan out money. This next person says, I'm 40 and people say to me, but you're still healthy, you could still have a baby? She's like, LOL. Yeah, didn't Janet Jackson have a baby really late? Like, she's in her 50s and she had a baby, right? And that was her first baby. I mean, that might be some people's dream, but it's not everybody's dream. My coworker was so mystified that I liked kids, but I didn't want any of my own. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game when they're your own or when they're other people's and you can just, spend some time with them and then pass them back on to the parents. I'm in my late 30s and people are finally starting to assume that I'm not going to change my mind about children. Well, there you go. There's something good about aging. People will eventually just assume, all right, maybe she doesn't want kids. I need to fill the void with other people's children. Now, I know there are a lot of child-free people that don't actually like spending time with other people's children. I don't mind spending time with my good friends or my family's children, but beyond that, I don't go searching for other children to spend time with because, I prefer my time to be child-free majority of the time. My marriage is weaker because I don't have children. You haven't gone through pregnancy and that childbirthing process, so there's going to be a bond that you're never going to have with your husband, and therefore you will never be as close to your husband. Going through pregnancy and having children is one of the ways that you can form a bond with your spouse. But you can have other experiences in your relationship that also form a tight bond. Not every relationship is going to go through the exact same bond-forming formulas or situations. So everyone's bonds with their spouses are different, and different isn't bad. Different doesn't mean you aren't close to your spouse. It just means that if you both decided you don't want children, that's not an experience that you want to go through together. And there are actually a lot of parents who argue a lot once they have children because raising kids is really challenging and two people often have completely different ideas or viewpoints on how to raise children. As much as some of those child-rearing experiences may bring you closer together, I think it also really challenges people's relationships and it might actually pull them further apart. My spouse and I are not a true family because we don't have kids. Yeah, that's common. I cannot have an opinion about child rearing or child education because I have no children. Therefore, I have no experience. I usually choose to just keep my mouth closed. I usually tread very carefully on this subject and I usually don't say anything unless someone specifically asks me because it can be a touchy subject. You must have a pet to fill the void of not having children. I love my pets. I don't have them to take the place of children, they're pets. Clearly you hate kids because you don't have any. That one kept coming up a lot. A lot of people just make the assumption you don't have kids equals you hate kids. I come from an extremely religious group. They assume that I'm a sinful person because I've made the choice to not have any kids. I'm actually infertile and unable to have children. That can be really hurtful to someone who can't have kids and then they're labeled. I always think it's really sad when people use religion or God as a means to try and punish people who don't have children. Your life is super easy. You don't know what hardship is because you don't have any children. Clearly, people who don't have kids don't ever go through anything difficult. What kind of assumptions do people make about you when they find out you don't have any kids? Leave it down in the comments below because I'm curious to see if they match some of the ones I'm reading off right now. You can't possibly be tired. You don't even know what being tired is because you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to take care of a kid. I can relate to this one. I am a chronic insomniac. I have been for many, many years. I've tried all sorts of different things to get me to go to sleep, and you know what? A lot of them haven't worked, and I'm still an insomniac. So when people say you don't understand what it's like to be tired, no, I understand. People assume that I am not as committed in my relationship because I don't have children, so it's more of a casual relationship instead of a this is a lifelong relationship. I don't think I could be more committed to Michael than I am right now. The holidays will never mean as much to you because you don't have children to share them with. Oh boy. You can have an amazing holiday experience with other people. It doesn't have to just be children. You're obviously a very lonely person because you don't have kids. I love peace, I love quiet, I love being alone, but I'm not lonely. You are robbing your family and not providing them with nieces and nephews or your parents with grandkids the way that you should be. And let's be honest, I don't owe anybody a baby. My mom had me, but that doesn't mean I must give her a grandchild. I have more free time to offer my workplace because I don't have kids. You are young and in denial and immature. One day you'll understand. You clearly have loads of extra cash because you don't have any kids. You have no idea how to interact with children because you don't have any of your own. Here, let me show you how to interact with children. You probably have a house full of cats and you're going to die alone. I don't know true love because I don't have any children. You can't have kids and that's why you don't have any. And that you must be agonizing over the fact that you are child-free. I have a ton of time on my hands. I actually really do crave parenthood. Deep down inside, I just don't let it show very often. I have a massive void in my life. You only care about yourself and your own happiness. You're not a very good person if you choose not to have children. You will never experience true joy and happiness because of your lack of children. You will definitely change your mind. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but you will definitely change your mind. You'd actually be a pretty bad parent. That's probably why you don't have any children.
You're in so much trouble.
Oh, it's just a phase. You're going through an independent phase. Once you really grow up, then you'll have kids. Oh, I'm so sorry. You guys must be on the verge of a divorce because you can't have kids. That must be so difficult for your relationship. You're so lucky. You must spend all your free time watching Netflix because you don't have to take care of children. It's obvious that you want kids, but because your partner doesn't want kids, you're just kind of going along with it. So I'm sorry, that must be really hard. Because I know as a woman, you definitely want kids. The whole point of being married is to populate the earth. So if you're not going to have any kids, why are you even married? You're infertile. I knew it. You're not a real woman if you don't have children. Obviously, you're controlling and manipulating of your spouse because otherwise you would have children. You're absolutely obsessed with work. You don't have anything else going on in your life because, well, you don't have kids. So your whole life is your job. When you find the right person, you're totally going to change your mind. You're going to have babies and you are then going to feel like what it really feels like to be fulfilled in life. You are so lucky you have tons of time for your hobbies. Oh, I'm a little jealous. You're just a little young yet. Once you get a little bit older and more mature, you will definitely know that having kids is the right choice for you. You obviously don't have very good genetics, and so you're scared to pass those on to your kid. That's why you're not having a child. Sorry, why are you leaving work early? You don't have to rush home to kids. Maybe you should stay a little longer and put in some extra time so the moms can get home. No one's gonna take care of you when you're older because, well, you know, you don't have any kids to take care of you. Yeah, just made a video about that one. Check it out right here if you want.